Hare Krishna devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. I'm just checking, sorry. Which verse is it? 132. Okay, I'll start with the prayer. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shyotapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhayascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Deshetarine. So today we are reading from second canto, first chapter, verse number 32. The first step in God realization is the name of the chapter. I'm sorry, I had completely forgot, so I did not prepare at all. So I'll read the verse. Vrido tarausto adhara eva lobho dharmastano adharma patho asya prishtham kastasya medram vishanau cha mitrau kukshi samudra girayo asthi sanghaha. Let me actually share the screen. So I'll read once more. Vridottaroष्ठो adhara eva lobho dharmastano adharma patho asya prishtham kastasya medram rishanau cha mitrau kukshiha samudra girayo asthi sanghaha. Synonym or the word to word meaning. Vrida, modesty. Uttara, upper. Oshtha, lip. Adhara, chin. Eva, certainly. Lobha, hankering. Dharmaha, religion. Stana, breast. Adharma, irreligion. Pathaha, way. Asya, his. Prishtham, black. Kaha, Brahma. Tasya, his. Medram, genitals. Vrishanau, testicles. Cha, also. Mitrau, the Mitra Varunas. Kukshiha, waste. Samudraha, the oceans. Giraya, the hills. Asthi, bones. Sanghaha stack. Translation: modesty is the upper portion of his lips, hankering is his chin, religion is the breast of the Lord, and irreligion is his back. Brahmaji, who generates all living beings in the material world, is his genitals, and the Mitra Varunas are his two testicles. The ocean is his waist, and the hills and mountains are the stacks of his bones. Purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. The Supreme Lord is not impersonal, as misconceived by less intelligent thinkers. Rather, he is the Supreme Person, as confirmed in all authentic Vedic literatures. But his personality is different from what we can conceive. It is stated here that Brahmaji acts as his genitals and that the Mitra Varunas are his two testicles. This means that as a person, he is complete with all bodily organs, but they are of different types with different potencies. When the Lord is described as impersonal, therefore it should be understood that his personality is not exactly the type of personality found within our imperfect speculation. One can, however, worship the Lord even by seeing the hills and mountains, or the ocean and the sky as different parts and parcels of the gigantic body of the Lord, the Virat Purusha. The Virat Rupa, as exhibited by Lord Krishna to Arjuna, is a challenge to the unbelievers. Okay, so Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadadi Swapadantikam. I was born in the darkest ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my eyes with the torch of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. When will Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada, who has established within this material world the mission to fulfill the desire of Lord Chaitanya, give me shelter under his lotus feet? Okay, so what we will do is I will read a few of the texts leading up to 2132, and then we will discuss 2132. So I'll begin from text number 21. O king, by this system of remembrance and by being fixed in the habit of seeing all good personal conception of the Lord, one can very soon attain devotional service to the Lord under his direct shelter. 22. The fortunate king Parikshit, inquiring further, said, O Brahmana, please describe in full detail how and where the mind has to be applied, and how the conception can be fixed, so that the dirty things in a person's mind can be removed. 23. Shukadev Goswami answered, one should control the sitting posture, regulate the breathing process by the yogic pranayama, and thus control the mind and senses, and with intelligence apply the mind to the gross potencies of the Lord, called the Virat Rupa. 24. This gigantic manifestation of the phenomenal material world as a whole is the personal body of the Absolute Truth, wherein the universal resultant past, present, and future of the material time is experienced. 25. The gigantic universal form of the personality of Godhead within the body of the universal shell, which is covered by sevenfold material elements, is the subject for the Virat conception. 26. Persons who have realized it have studied that the planets known as Patala constitute the bottoms of the feet of the universal Lord. And the heels and the toes are the Rasatala planets. The ankles are the Mahatala planets, and his shanks constitute the Talatala planets. 27. The knees of the universal form are the planetary system of the same Sutala, and the two thighs are the Vitala and Atala planetary systems. The hips are Mahitala, and outer space is the depression of his navel. 28. The chest of the original personality of the gigantic form is the luminary planetary system. His neck is the Mahar planets, his mouth is the Janas planets, and his forehead is the Tapas planetary system. The topmost planetary system, known as Satyaloka, is the head of he who has 1,000 heads. 29. His arms are the demigods headed by Indra. The 10 directional sides are his ears, and physical sound is his sense of hearing. His nostrils are the two Ashwini Kumaras, and material fragrance is his sense of smell. His mouth is the blazing fire. 30. The sphere of outer space constitute his eye pits, and the eyeballs is the sun as the power of seeing. His eyelids are both the day and night, and in the movements are his eyebrows. Brahma and similar supreme personalities reside. His palate is the director of water, Varuna, and the juice or essence of everything in his tongue. 31. They say that the Vedic hymns are the cerebral passage of the Lord, and his jaws of teeth are Yama, god of death, who punishes the sinners. The art of affection is his set of teeth, and the most alluring illusory material energy is his smile. This great ocean of material creation is but the casting of his glance over us. And now 32, which is today's verse. Modesty is the upper portion of his lips. Hankering is his chin. Religion is the breast of the Lord. And irreligion is his back. Brahmaji, who generates all living beings in the material world, is his genitals, and Mitra Varunas are his two testicles. The ocean is his waist, and the hills and mountains are the stack of his bones. So I did this for my own benefit to get the context. So the Virat Purusha's form is being described here by Sukadev Goswami when Parikshit Maharaj asked the question. And in this case, Srila Prabhupada is saying in the purport that the impersonalists say that the Lord does not have a form, but it's clearly described here that even within the material world, the Virat Purusha has the form which is made out of the Lord's different parts. And he's saying that the Supreme Lord is not impersonal as misconceived by the less intelligent thinkers. Rather, he is the Supreme Person as confirmed in all authentic Vedic literatures. And his personality is different from what we can conceive. It is stated here that Brahmaji acts as his genitals and that the Mitra Varunas are his two testicles. So and so and so on. So this is also compared to the Vibhuti yoga, which means the yoga that is being yoga of the opulence as described in the 10th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. And in the Vibhuti yoga, Krishna describes all the different material things. For example, he states that among the trees, he's the banyan tree. Among the horses, he's the best of the horses. Among all the different aspects of the material creation, and he says that he's the best of them. Among the mountains, he's the Himalayas, or the immovables, he's the Himalayas, etc. So this is the Vibhuti yoga, or the yoga through opulence. Vibhuti, the word Vibhuti itself means opulence, opulence of the Supreme. And the word yoga means to connect with the Supreme. So there are different yoga systems, as we all know. There's the karma yoga, which is what the Bhagavad Gita begins with, and then it goes on to talk about the dhyana yoga or the ashtanga yoga, and then the bhakti yoga, and then again in details the last 6 sections of the Bhagavad Gita talk about the jnana yoga leading to bhakti yoga. And in the 10th chapter, he's talking about Vibhuti Yoga. So these different yoga systems are there so that we, the living entities, everyone has different propensities, different mindsets, different mentality. And based on that, there are different processes, but they all lead to Bhakti Yoga. And here the Vibhuti Yoga is the yoga by understanding the opulence of the Supreme. So by looking at these extraordinary material manifestations, we can see, or they actually reflect the spark of Krishna's glory. And that is also described in the 10th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, verse number 41, which I'll quickly refer here. I'll bring it up. So in verse number 41, he says that Yad yad vibhuti mat sattvam Srimad urjitam eva va tat tad eva vagachatvam mama tejo amsha sambhavam. Meaning, the translation is, know that all opulent, beautiful, and glorious creations spring from but a spark of my splendor. So Krishna says that to Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita, and similarly here Sukadev Goswami is describing the opulences and the glories of the universal form, the Virat Rupa. And by understanding these different manifestations, we can think of Krishna, that okay, Krishna or the Supreme Lord in his absolute form, absolute truth form, has these different wonderful things, and they help us in understanding and remembering the Supreme Lord. Because such manifestations, they naturally attract our attention, and so they can be used as an impetus to remember the Supreme Lord. Because we are in the material world, we are naturally attracted to material things, and therefore this Virat Rupa is being explained. And by getting attracted to this, we can remember the Supreme Lord, or it helps us in remembering Supreme Lord. And that's how the Vibhuti Yoga is defined. But the purpose, and the actual purpose, is to focus on the Supreme Lord, not necessarily on the specific manifestations as devotees. But as devotees, we can understand, and with the understanding that these are coming from Krishna, our consciousness is redirected from matter to the spirit, or to the Supreme Spirit, to the Lord. And there are actually different ways of transferring the consciousness from matter to spirit, which is also like they are authentic. And the first one is the Vedanta method, which talks about radical differentiation between the matter and the spirit. Basically, what it does is it takes one's consciousness to the spirit by negating the matter. So just like in my body, I can say, we often say that I'm not this body, I'm the spirit soul. But I could begin with the body and say that this finger is not, I'm not this finger, this hand, I'm not this hand, I am not this shoulders, I'm not the legs, I'm not the belly, and so on, so on. And then ultimately I can say that I'm not this body and I'm the spirit. That is gradual elevation. So similarly, Vedanta method, it differentiates between matter and spirit by negation of matter, that this is not spirit, this is not spirit, or this is not the real truth or absolute truth, and so on. And then it reaches, and then finally it concludes that the spirit is beyond matter, or the spirit is the origin of matter. That is Vedanta. The second method is the Bhagavata method, or the devotional method, where the sound is the way to elevate our consciousness from matter to spirit. And the sound can be in multiple ways. It can be by chanting of the Maha Mantra, the mantra meditation, by reading these authentic scriptures. Reading is also a form of sound, and hearing the scriptures and discussing the scriptures among the devotees, like Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, etc. They also take our consciousness from matter to spirit. They not only take from matter to spirit, but they also help us engage in devotional service and keep us permanently in that spiritual consciousness. And then there are other methods called Tantra methods. And Tantra methods also, there are the right and the left parts are there. We mostly focus on the right parts, which is Tantra itself basically means matter itself is used to take the consciousness from matter to spirit. Just like it is, it's said that iron axe can cut an iron. So similarly, matter itself is used to cut the attachment from matter. That is the Tantra. And the right hand Tantra is what we devotees use, where we worship the deity. The deity is made up of matter like wood, stone, and marble, etc. But we understand from the scriptures that the deity has special position where the Lord himself takes the form of the deity. And then there are the left hand, which is the tamasic, different witchcrafts and black magic, etc. Anyway, so we see that there are these ways of transferring the consciousness from matter to spirit, and this Vibhuti yoga is one of them, which is what Krishna is describing and Sukadev Goswami is describing here. So I will stop here at 7:59. I'll quickly summarize here that in this particular verse, Sukadev Goswami is talking about the upper portions of the lips, and he's saying that the religion is the breast of the Lord, irreligion is his back, Brahmaji is because from Brahmaji, different living entities, he's the original person through which he facilitates the living entities coming, is compared to his Lord's genitals, and the Mitra Varunas, his testicles, ocean is his waist, hills and mountains are the stacks of his bones. So these are, as I understand, or from a devotee's perspective, we can see this as Vibhuti Yoga. I talked about this Vibhuti Yoga, the what is that? The opulence of the absolute chapter in the 10th chapter Bhagavad Gita, and compared this. So that's what my understanding is. I'm sorry, I was not at all prepared today. So any questions or discussion? Otherwise, we will stop here. Please have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you very much. Yes, Mataji, Devi Murti Mataji.
Prabhuji, thank you for the class. It was really nice. Even though you were not prepared, but still it was so nice. Thank you. And I had a small doubt, Prabhu, about the Virat Rupa form of the Lord. Like in previous classes, one of the speaker mentioned that this Virat Rupa form is an imaginary form of the Lord. And we are seeing these details coming up about Krishna's body, what it is in terms of material existence. So I'm still confused if it is actually imaginary, or does it even exist, or no.
Yes, so we see that Krishna did show this form, the Virat Rupa, but our acharyas have said that this form that is being shown is not the highest version of the form, or it is not his spiritual form, and it is, like I mentioned, these different things are there. It is in general, as devotees, as the acharyas have said, and this is not I am saying, it is for the little lesser intelligent people or lesser intelligent devotees who are trying, or who are in the beginning stages of their spiritual journey, and to connect themselves with the Lord. This is described. That's my understanding without getting into the details. So if anyone else has any other answer, please feel free to pitch in.
My understanding, Prabhu, I think it is a temporary form. It's not kind of completely, it's not there. It is the temporary form. It is not like a permanent form like other Vishnu form. There is a Vaikuntha planet and all, but this is a temporary form. I think that's what I understood from Gurujan Prabhu's book. Maybe I can find that reference and see.
Yeah, okay. So both in that case, it is an imaginary form or a temporary form. They would both be similar in that case then.
Yeah, that's why Prabhupada sometimes uses imaginary.
Yeah.
People worship it to in the beginning stages to understand the opulence. I mean, that's why people will be able to connect to the Supreme Lord. They are so great opulences, right?
Yes, because we are so attached to the material world, we can understand things only through matter. These different, and that's why I thought, when I read this, I thought of connecting this to the Vibhuti Yoga chapter 10, and there are different ways people like us who are very attached to the matter can understand things in perspective of matter, and therefore these descriptions are there.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Guru Maharaj Srila Prabhupada. I have one observation, Prabhu, that is the Virat Rupa. Right now we are studying in the Bhagavatam. Is like we are trying to have the picture of a single person, one person. In the Bhagavad Gita opulence chapter, we have his innumerable hands and legs and feet everywhere, his bellies and his, that means, how do we tally both,
Yeah, like Lingaraja Prabhu said, they are imaginary forms, although the one which described in chapter 11 is little bit different from the form which is described here, because in chapter 11, Krishna says that he is showing his Kala Rupa.
Okay.
And that's why those subtle differences are there.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhu. I just wanted to remember.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll stop here. Have a good rest of your day. Hare Krishna. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya vacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha.